What happens when not one but two bosses leave a setup? It raises more questions than answers, especially when both have been instrumental in a dramatic shift in the sport in the country. In results finally coming their way, Hockey India's long-serving CEO Elena Norman resigned from her position on Tuesday. The events that led to the long-due resignation is a real reflection of hockey's instability in the country. And what's more shocking is the fact that the resignation comes just 3 days after head coach of the Indian women's team, Janneke Schopman, also quit. Schopman, who's an Olympic gold medal winner and World Cup winner as a player, claimed she wasn't valued and respected and was unhappy with the work environment. A claim also made by Norman. These allegations made against the federation definitely reflects on the larger problems in the sport.
Hockey is one of the oldest sporting disciplines in the world, and it carries a rich legacy. The Indian hockey team was at one point a force to reckon with, a world beater. It meant that they held their heads high and refused to bow down to anyone who threatened what they stood for. This is the same sport that grabbed headlines for a defiant display against Adolf Hitler in 1936. During the 1936 Berlin Olympics, the Indian men's hockey team refused to bow down to the ruthless Hitler. It was an Olympic final and India were facing Germany. And Captain Major Dhyan Chand not only gave out a strong political statement, but won the final 8-1 in Hitler's presence. Imagine how spirited and dominant that Indian hockey team must have been. The team symbolized standing up for what they believed in and what was right. Fast forward to the year 2024, years later when the sport itself has come a long way, yet it seems to be mired in issues that will pull it down. The same sport and its governing body, Hockey India, are grabbing the headlines. Reports of a lack of work ethic and a problematic environment are emerging. In a shocking development, Hockey India's long-serving CEO Elena Norman resigned from her position on the 27th of February. Norman took over the role in 2011. This was after Hockey India's years of administrative muddle and even getting suspended. During her 13-year-long stint, Norman was instrumental in making Hockey India among the best-run sports federations. She brought in a professional work culture and even prompted the country to host major international tournaments. Her ways were ruthless, but they've yielded success for Indian hockey. But could they have resulted in her being pushed out too? Talks of her quitting the role were doing the rounds during the Women's Asian Champions Trophy in November 2023. Her absence during the Olympic qualifiers in January this year raised the alarm bells. Hockey India's president, who is a former player, Dilip Tirkey, too has acknowledged that the working environment and unpaid dues were some of the prime reasons for her exit. Reports say Norman was working in her role despite not being paid for over 3 months. What's more, Norman's resignation comes just 3 days after another woman lead, the hockey coach of the women's team, Janneke Schopman, stepped down. Schopman had resigned from her role after claiming that she and her team were not treated equally. But Schopman had said she had found support from Norman during her stint. Norman was instrumental in promoting women's hockey, ensuring equal facilities and recognition. Norman played a key role in the women's team's Olympic qualification in 2016 after 36 years. The dynamic Australian was pivotal in Hockey India's revival. But despite these achievements, she has departed, and it marks a setback for the board. Schopman and Norman's claims of the setup not being conducive for women to work in has put the country and the organization under the scanner. While the board aims to promote and develop hockey in India, a long-standing employee leaving will impact the progress and affect the image India has as a sporting hub. The Hockey Association will have to get into damage control mode and soon, because 2 top female leads, one of whom is even a World Cup winner, quitting because of unequal treatment and unprofessional issues, puts India in a very poor light as far as its image as a sporting country is concerned.